This podcast episode is designed to provide listeners with a comprehensive understanding of the home improvement contractor's license application process in New York City.
Welcome to Business Matters, a presentation of the Chamber Coalition, which comprises the New American Chamber of Commerce, the African American International Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic American International Chamber of Commerce. To become a chamber member, be a guest, or register for our events, go to www.nacc.nyc. That's www.nacc.nyc, or call us at 718-722-9217. That's 718-722-9217.
A very warm welcome to everyone. We are joined by a very special guest, Christine Dussault, who is an Associate General Counsel in the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, DCWP. Welcome. Such an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting us to join you.
You're so welcome.
It's an honor to speak with you.
Thank you so much. Could you give us an overview of your role and the role of the NYC Department of Consumer and Worker Protection in licensing home improvement contractors?
Of course. So as you said, my name is Kristen Dussault, and I'm an Associate General Counsel here at DCWP. I've been working for the agency for over 7 years now, and I lead one of the litigation teams, the Regulatory Enforcement and Affirmative Litigation Unit. Part of what we do in that unit is we regulate home improvement contractors. Taking a step back, our mission at DCWP is to protect and enhance the daily economic lives of New Yorkers to create thriving communities. We actually license more than 45,000 businesses across more than 40 industries, and we enforce key consumer and worker protection laws. So we do a whole bunch of stuff at DCWP. As I mentioned, one of the licenses we issue is the Home Improvement Contractor License. That license is required for individuals or entities that may want to perform home improvement work on a private residence in any of the 5 boroughs in New York City. So this would include prime contractors and subcontractors. Some types of examples, just to give you an understanding of the work, it can be remodeling work, it can be renovating kitchens and bathrooms, installing fences or windows, roof work, and a whole bunch of other things, right? So if anything touches on something that you may think is home improvement work, you're likely going to need a license from our department if you plan to work within New York City. This license does not cover the construction of new buildings or homes. That's a separate license that would be issued by the New York City Department of Buildings.
Excellent. So what are the key steps involved in obtaining a home improvement contractor's license in New York City? Are there any specific educational or experience requirements that applicants must fulfill?
So those who are wishing to obtain a home improvement contractor's license can visit online. They can visit nyc.gov/business toolbox. And they can make an appointment there to visit our licensing center in person, or you can actually apply online. So I would really suggest going to nyc.gov/business toolbox. There are a few requirements that applicants need to provide in order to complete an application. There's a basic licensing application. You need to provide a sales tax ID number or a certificate of authority application confirmation number, a proof of business address, which can come from a utility bill, lease, things like that, a proof of the home address. For HIC licensees, you're going to need to provide workers' compensation insurance information. There's also a requirement that these licensees either pay into what is called the DCWP Trust Fund, and there's a $200 fee to pay into that. Or if they elect, they can get a copy of a surety bond. There's compliance agreements they must sign, and then there's the home improvement exam. So that home improvement exam comes with it a $50 fee to take the exam, and it really just tests your understanding of the law, the things that are going to be required of a home improvement contractor working in New York City. The application also requires fingerprints and a processing fee, granting authority to act affirmation if applicable, and then the license fee. So there's a whole bunch of different things that go into the application process. But as I said before, if you go to that website, it lists it all out very clearly, provides that information for you. There's no specific education or experience requirements to obtain the license, but you do have to take and pass that exam.
How many times are you allowed to take the exam?
That is a great question. I believe you're allowed to take it a few times within a year. You're allowed to repeat it if you happen to fail. So, this isn't a one time and you're out type of a situation. There's the opportunity to take it again if need be.
So, looking at regulatory compliance and building codes, how does the DCWP ensure that licensed home improvement contractors comply with New York City laws and regulations, and what role does the DCWP play in overseeing safety and regulatory standards in construction projects?
So home improvement contractors must follow key consumer protection laws. They must ensure that any promises made to consumers are kept, right? So anything that is detailed in a contract must happen. There are specific local laws and regulations that relate to the work that they do, as well as the work being safe, and they must comply with those as well. Many of the building codes and the safe work codes are enforced by the Department of Buildings, which is separate from our agency. At DCWP, our role really is to make sure that we protect consumers. And so the best way that we can make sure consumers are protected when hiring a home improvement contractor is to make sure that they are licensed. It is critical for the individuals who work in this space to get a license, and it's really important for consumers who are hiring these individuals to make sure they are hiring a licensed contractor. That will allow us to take action on the consumer's behalf if they have complaints or issues with the quality of work, or if their consumer rights have been violated.
So I know you mentioned the website before, nyc.gov/business toolbox, but are there any resources or support that the DCWP offer to applicants to navigate the licensing process? Perhaps workshops, seminars, or other online resources that may be available to those who would be interested in getting that license?
Yeah, so in addition to the resources available on that website page that I described, we also offer DCWP 101s. And so these webinars cover various issues from consumer protection law changes to licensing requirements. And actually, just last month, we posted a webinar on home improvement contractor licensing. So you can find those sessions on our Facebook page. They exist for a period of time after they go live. And so you can visit facebook.com/HelloDCWP to find the most recent webinars.
Excellent. So let's talk about challenges and common issues. What are some common challenges that applicants face when applying for a home improvement contractor's license, and how does the DCWP address these challenges and support applicants throughout the process?
So because it can sometimes feel overwhelming and it can be a complicated process, we have actually created, as I said before, that business toolbox. It has so many resources and checklists that are helpful for those who are applying for a license. If an applicant needs language interpretation services, they should visit nyc.gov/DCWP and search accommodations. If there are individuals that, given their specific circumstances, they have a very specific question that our website does not answer, those people can come and email our Business Compliance Council at bcc@dcwp.nyc.gov. Again, that's bcc@dcwp.nyc.gov.
All right, thank you. So I know you mentioned that briefly before, but overall, what are the benefits for contractors and consumers when working with licensed contractors? How does licensing contribute to consumer protection and quality assurance in construction projects?
So hiring a licensed home improvement contractor will allow us as an agency to take action on behalf of that consumer if there are complaints or issues with the quality of work, or if some type of rights have been violated. Obtaining a license for this work is required by law. So anybody in the industry should receive a license from our agency if they plan to do work in New York City. From the consumer perspective, if they hire a licensed home improvement contractor, they can also be reassured that the contractor they hired is required to adhere to standards of conduct and of work contained in our rules. So because there are specific rules related to our licensees, a consumer can rest assured that they are following those rules if they have a license from us. Important to note is that consumers who are working with licensed HICs may be eligible for repayment if they end up having an issue with that contractor through our Home Improvement Contractor Trust Fund. So if a DCWP licensed contractor did not complete the contracted job as promised, or if the contractor owes the consumer money because of some reason they did something wrong and they're refusing to refund that consumer or make them whole, the consumer can file a claim with our agency to try to get that money from the trust fund. So that new claims process is wonderful for consumers who may end up in a position where they need to get some money back given bad work.
That's very good information to know.
Yes, and it's important because if a consumer were to hire an unlicensed contractor, unfortunately, that will make them completely ineligible for that claims process. So again, it's just critical to make sure your HIC is licensed.
Having that safety net.
Exactly.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is considering applying for a home improvement contractor's license in New York City? And are there any common misconceptions about the licensing process that you would like to clarify?
So I know I sound like a broken record here, but I would really suggest visiting us on our website, nyc.gov/business toolbox to get started. So there's a wealth of information there. There's a guide to prospective applicants. And so I really do think that will help in starting the process. And if from there you'd like to make an appointment at the licensing center, or you have additional questions, you can email the Business Compliance Council email address I mentioned earlier. We really do just urge consumers to make sure that they hire DCWP licensed contractors, and we urge all individuals in this business to get a license from our agency if you're working within New York City. You can check online, actually, if a contractor is licensed by visiting our license lookup tool at nyc.gov/consumers.
So you don't have to take the word of the contractor. You can actually verify that yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, so finally, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about the role of the DCWP in licensing contractors or the licensing process itself? And I know you did mention the website several times, but if you know, in closing, you can give that website again so individuals can get more information or assistance.
Of course. So anybody who's interested in applying for a home improvement contractor license, anybody who thinks I may do work within New York City that seems to be home improvement, take a look at our website. Go to nyc.gov/business toolbox, read through, try to figure out if it sounds like you do need a license. Better safe than sorry. Apply for that license. And then you can do work within New York City once you receive your license document. So again, nyc.gov/business toolbox. For consumers, just make sure that your home improvement contractor is licensed. Use the license lookup tool at nyc.gov/consumers. It will really help you out in the long run. And if there are specific questions that people have when going through this licensing process, or just questions about, do I really fit in this? Do I need a license? You can email our Business Compliance Council at dcwp.nyc.gov.
All right. So thank you so much, Christine Dussault, Associate General Counsel in the New York City Department of Consumer and Workers Protection, DCWP. It was such a pleasure speaking with you, and we look forward to having you back again talking about other licenses.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure.
You are invited to the Chamber Coalition Small Business Sense Bootcamp. Join our 5-session webinar series where we provide education and business preparation for small business owners and startups. Learn the basics of business planning, how to finance your business alternatives and your credit as an asset, marketing and social media strategies, small business solutions, legal, tax, accounting, banking, and insurance, and how to do business with the government and corporations. Register